Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. You always come from the front. Because you never know if you're putting a noose around the guy's neck or something. It could be like, that's the end. So it's always from the front. Jayo Radha. You can always, see, I was thinking it could be a noose. Because I'm a nuisance. But I was just fearing for my life. But the etiquette is you come from the front. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari. Jasoranandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jasoranandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamunatira Vanachari. Jamunatira Vanachari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivardhari. Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivardhari. Jasoranandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jasoranandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamunatira Vanachari. Jamunatira Vanachari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Sri Sri Radha Madhava ki, Sri Sri Radha Giridhari ki, Jai srimadbhagavatam ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Jaya Jashodhara Shishimad His Divine Grace by Charanara Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Samveda Bhakti ki Jai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Damodar, go upstairs. He's going to get me a nectar devotion. That's where he is. Okay, so this morning a reading from the 4th canto, 1st chapter, text 15. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jamadiyat. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, this is the verse. Atre Patjana Suyatrin Jajne Suyasha Jajne Suyasha Sutan Datam Durvasasam Somam Atmesha Brahmasambhavan Atre Patjana Suyatrin Jajne Suyashasha Sutan Datam Durvasasam Somam Atmesha Brahmasambhavan Atre Patjana Suyatrin Jajne Suyashasha Sutan Datam Durvasasam Somam Atmesha Brahmasambhavan. Please chant.
Atmesha Brahmasambhavan. Jagye Suyasasasutam Datam Durvasasam Somam Atmesha Brahmasambhavan. Atre Patjana Suyatrin Jagye Suyasasasutam Datam Durvasasam Somam Atmesha Brahmasambhavan. Atre Patjana Suyatrin Jagye Suyasasasutam Datam Durvasasam Somam Atmesha Brahmasambhavan.
Anyone else? I forgot to bring them. Foolish me. That's everyone, huh? Domam Admeja Brahmasambhavan Atre Patyana Suyatrin Jagye Suyashasha Sudan Datam Durvasasam Somam Admeja Brahmasambhavan. Synonyms. Atre, of Atri Muni. Patni, wife. Anasuya, named Anasuya. You know what Anasuya means? Not envious. Nice name, huh? Anasuya. Trin. 3. Yagnye. Boar. Su Yashasha. Very famous. Sutan. Sons. Dattam. Dattatreya. Durvasasam. Durvasa. Somam. Soma, the moon god. Atma, the super soul. Isha, Lord Shiva. Brahma, Lord Brahma. Sambhavan, incarnations of. Translation. Anasuya, the wife of Atri Muni, gave birth to 3 very famous sons. Soma, Dattatreya, and Durvasa. You know what Durvasa means? Badly dressed. Like, yeah, just not much there. Like that, so. Like that, Durvasa, so. Who were partial representations of Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, and Lord Brahma. Soma was a partial representation of Lord Brahma. Dattatreya was a partial representation of Lord Vishnu, and Durvasa was a partial representation of Lord Shiva. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Now here's this. Actually, the chapter tells in detail the whole story. Purport's just a bit of an explanation, but the whole story unfolds over the next few verses. Purport. 1 second here. Let me bring this up just a little bit. There we go. In this verse, we find the words Atma, Isha, Brahma, Sambhavan. Atma means the super soul or Vishnu. Isha means Lord Shiva, and Brahma means the four-headed Lord Brahma. The 3 sons born of Anasuya, Dattatreya, Durvasa, and Soma were born as partial representations of these 3 demigods. Atma is not in the category of the demigods or living entities because he is Vishnu. Therefore, he is described as Biman Amsa Bhutanam. The Supersoul Vishnu is the seed-giving father of all living entities, including Brahma and Lord Shiva. Another meaning of the word Atma may be accepted in this way. The principle who is the Supersoul in every Atma, or, one may say, the soul of everyone, became manifested as Dattatreya because the word Amsa, part and parcel, is used here. In Bhagavad Gita, the individual souls are also described as parts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or Supersoul. What's that verse? Zach? Mamai? Yeah, what chapter is that in? Now that we happen to be in the month of Purushottam Adhikamas, and that chapter is supposed to be read every day. 15, yes. You're reading it every day? Okay. Mamaibam so jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatana. So that's referred here. So why not accept that Dattatreya was one of those parts? Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma are also described here as parts, so why not accept all of them as ordinary individual souls? The answer is that the manifestations of Vishnu and those of the ordinary living entities are certainly all parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, and no one is equal to him, but among the parts and parcels there are different categories. News for the impersonalist. Big news. Underline that one. Okay. In the Varaha Purana, it is nicely explained that some of the parts are Svamsa and some are Bhimanamsa. Bhimanamsa parts are called Jivas, and Swamsa parts are in the Vishnu category. In the Jiva category, the Bhimanamsa parts and parcels, there are also gradations. That is explained in the Vishnu Purana, where it is clearly stated that the individual parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord are subject to being covered by the external energy called illusion, or Maya. Such individual parts and parcels who can travel to any part of the Lord's creation are called Sarvagata and are suffering the pangs of material existence. They are proportionally freed from the coverings of ignorance under material existence according to the different levels of work and under the different influences of the modes of material nature. Want an example? For example, the sufferings of jivas situated in the mode of goodness are less than those of jivas situated in the mode of ignorance. Pure Krishna consciousness, however, is the birthright of all living entities because every living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. The consciousness of the Lord is also in the part and parcel, and according to the proportion to which that consciousness is cleared of material dirt, the living entities are differently situated. In the Vedanta Sutra, the living entities of different gradations are compared to candles or lamps with different candle power. For example, some electric bulbs have the power of 1,000 candles. That'd be pretty bright, wouldn't it? Big sunglasses and hats would all have baseball hats and sunglasses on for that one. And tanning lotion, probably. That's very bright. 1,000 candles. Some have the power of 500 candles, some the power of 100 candles, some 50 candles, etc. But all electric bulbs have light. Light is present in every bulb, but the gradations of light are different. Similarly, there are gradations of Brahman. The Vishnu Swamsa expansions of the Supreme Lord in different Vishnu forms are like lamps. Lord Shiva is also like a lamp, and the supreme candle power, or the 100% light, is Krishna. The Vishnu Tattva has 94%, the Shiva Tattva has 84%, Lord Brahma has 78%, and the living entities are also like Brahma, but in the conditioned state their power is still more dim. There are gradations of Brahman, and no one could deny this fact. Therefore, the words Atmesha Brahma Sambhavan indicate that Dattatreya was directly part and parcel of Vishnu, whereas Durvasa and Soma were parts and parcels of Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. All three different tattvas. Om Agyan Timarandasya Ghananjana Salakaya Chaksulun Minitam Dena Taismai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, with your permission, I will try to say a few words. Thank you. Anasuya, the wife of Atri Muni, gave birth to three very famous sons, Soma, Dattatreya, and Durvasa, who were partial representations of Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, and Lord Brahma. Soma was a partial representation of Lord Brahma, Dattatreya was a partial representation of Lord Vishnu, and Durvasa was a partial representation of Lord Shiva. Family gatherings must have been quite interesting, right? Here's my brother Durvasa, right? Anyways, these are great, great personalities. We hear about them throughout the Puranas. You're not going to make it, are you? You want to help him fold or something? Yeah, I think so. So in the beginning of the purport, we'll discuss two different things. This, just a little bit about this Swamsa and Vibhanamsa. This is brought up. I remember recently reading it to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. It's there in that section of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, because just bringing up that the expansions of the Lord, and we're not God, because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was explaining Vedanta Sutra according to Sankaracharya, and he didn't say anything for 7 days. Lord Chaitanya just sat there listening. He said, "You're not asking any questions, or like you're giving a class and you're instructing someone. Everyone has this kind of blank look on their face. You wonder what's going on here. Am I making any impression?" So Lord Chaitanya said, "I understand Vedanta Sutra perfectly well. It's your explanation that I'm having a hard time with." And Sarvabhauma said, "Well, maybe you could tell me what tell me what you think. What's the Vedanta Sutra?" Then Lord Chaitanya launched into the explanation. He said, "Actually, the verses are very, very clear, and your explanations are like clouds covering everything." And of course, it's an impersonal explanation or commentaries, and he's explaining how the Supreme Lord is there, where all the parts and parcels and so on. And also, Lord Chaitanya was speaking to Sanatana Goswami. This is elaborated quite a lot, this Swamsa and Vibhanamsa. My understanding is that Shankaracharya, his philosophy is one of I was just thinking about it this morning. What's the word? Transformation. And Veda Vyas, that's one of, what's it called, expansion, emanation. In other words, everything is an emanation from the Supreme Lord, the Absolute Truth, but the Absolute doesn't lose its, or his, it's his, identity. Whereas the impersonalists say everything is a transformation of the Absolute Truth, and the Absolute Truth no longer has any identity. Everything is the Absolute Truth. So that's the difference. One is transformation, one is emanation. So our philosophy is a philosophy of emanation. Just like the sun is emanating so much energy, but does the sun gone? No, it remains there. It's still there. It's still there. When the June gloom burns off a little later today, you can go look in the sky and you'll see it. So that's our understanding. Even a material example like that. The sun, so much emanation of energy, heat and light, but it remains. In fact, it's a mystery in modern science. How is it actually going on? They actually don't know. They do not know. They don't know. It's so much energy, so much going on, they have no idea. Like that. So, and different living entities or expansions are in two categories, Svamsa and Vibhanamsa. Swamsa refers to this Vishnu Tattva, right? It's actually the Supreme Lord, Dipacha eva dashantam abhyupeta, that verse in the Brahma Samhita. Just like one candle lighting another candle, they're all of equal power, but there was an original candle. So these different Vishnu Tattva expansions of the Lord, whether it's Narayan, different forms of Narayan, even different avatars, they're all Vishnu, they're all Krishna. They're not living entities. Where this Vibhanamsa, parts and parcels, apparently, according to this category, Shiva Tattva also in Vibhanamsa? Is that what we are meant to understand? What would you say? It's different than Jiva Tattva, but is Jiva Tattva and Shiva Tattva and Vibhanamsa? Are both under that heading? You have Swamsa and Vibhanamsa. Under Vibhanamsa, is that both Shiva Tattva and Jiva Tattva? Vibhanamsa, okay. It's in a category all unto himself. Like that. But, no, for now. Maybe Vibhanamsa. No, Swamsa is Vishnu. So these are different categories, and Prabhupada's saying the absolute truth. Why can't there be gradations? Just like light bulbs, there's light in so many varieties of light bulbs. Just even, in fact, it's still there on Marina Boulevard, there's a light bulb store, just sells light bulbs. We need a lot more than just bulbs up there, Prabhus. There's even flower petals now. When's the next festival? Lord Balaam's Appearance Day? That's in August. I think that's the next big festival. Maybe. These chandeliers could be cleaned by then. That's right. Starting today. Jai. Okay, that's good. Okay. So bulbs. And that's what I was talking about. How there's different bulbs are different... they call it watts, right? They have watts in India also? Watts. Is that Mr. Watts? The guy had named it after himself, Watts. Like that, a certain amount of lumens. They all even say lumens sometimes. It's a measurement of luminosity, I guess, right? Drawing, right. And then lumens, I think, is how much like that. So even in this material world, and Prabhupada says it's based upon how uncovered we are from the material dirt in the heart. The different, all the qualities, you could say, of Krishna, our original qualities start coming out like that. And to the extent we're covered by material dirt, those qualities are covered. So, and the lower we go in the modes of nature, the more and more those qualities are covered, practically speaking, imperceivable. Just like different living entities in the very, very low modes of nature, like you get down to trees and plants and slugs, and even aquatics apparently are very, very low on the totem pole in the ocean there. Yeah. The spiritual, our natural spiritual qualities are very, very much covered. So that's the differentiation there. And we're going to read a little bit from the Nectar Devotion, because in the Nectar Devotion, Rupa Goswami elaborates on this point that's given at the very end of the purport, that these different qualities, just like the different lumens or watts, Lord Vishnu has a certain amount, Lord Shiva has a certain amount, Lord Brahma has a certain amount, but Krishna has all of them, all 64 qualities. These are analyzed by Srila Rupa Goswami and elaborated on. We'll read a little bit in the Nectar Devotion. And there was one medieval Christian philosopher named Anselm, who had one statement, which he in his mind summed up God. He said, God is that being whom no greater being can be conceived of. No greater being can be conceived of. And that's a good definition, right? So who's got the best definition of God? Right? Sometimes Prabhupada would be interviewed by someone, and I remember True telling a story about in Australia that one what do you call it, talk show host was, actually there's another story too in Los Angeles, a famous one in Los Angeles called a shock jock. Is that what they call them? They just, yeah, they just get their guests there and just make a big show just to get listeners, insult the person, try to get a reaction from them and so on. But there's this one he was talking about in Australia, and the person was, and you see this sometimes come up, was challenging, because the devotees brought a picture of Krishna and so on. So, is this your God? And Prabhupada said, yes. And he said, he was arguing. He said, well, do you have a better conception of God? Prabhupada said, what's your conception of God? And the man couldn't say a thing. Couldn't say a thing. So you say this isn't God, and I ask you what your conception of God. You have no conception of God. So why if you don't know who God is, how can you say Krishna isn't God? Right? Oh, Krishna is not God. That means you must know who God is. Right? If you say Damodar Kumar is not the temple commander, then you must know who the temple commander is. Right? So who's the temple commander? If it's not Damodar Kumar, who is it? That's impersonalism. Okay, I brought up a sore point here. Hare Krishna. You understand what I'm saying?
But it's actually better. He's a good choice.
No, he is. So he is the temple commander, like that. But you say he isn't, then you must know who is. So if you don't know who it is, be quiet. Be quiet and listen. Because if you listen and hear Krishna's qualities, he comes out on top. It's the best, it's the greatest definition of God that you'll find. Go through any wisdom, they call them now wisdom literature. Scriptures is like a little scary for people sometimes, so they call them wisdom literatures. And different traditions, religious traditions around the world, the concept of God, it's understood in different times and places by different revelations and so on. We're not saying they're wrong completely. They're just different levels of understanding. But the understanding of Krishna as a Supreme Personality of Godhead, Rupa Goswami is saying, just without any bias, it's the best description. It's the best description. These qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, those who are in the Vedic fold, they know about Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, the different demigods and so on. And unfortunately today, sometimes they have this crazy idea that they're all God. What God do you want to worship? You can take your choice. You got the high-level ones, right? And then you got 33 million of them if you ever want to worship. It's all God. The different faces of the Absolute, they say. And which is clearly bogus. But the point being brought here is these three presiding deities, the highest of the devatas, Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma, they have different gradations of qualities. They're not all the same. They're not all the same. Just like they always run these ads and articles in Forbes magazine or something. Who the richest men in America are? Richest people, not men anymore. Who the richest people in the world are? And this person's worth this much, right? Just who the rich people in India. Who's the richest man in India? He's one of those IT persons, right? He's very, very, yeah. So they run these articles. Who is the richest? And they count the money. You want to know who's the richest? Well, you count the money. You count the assets. So who has the most qualities of God, godly qualities? Well, count them. Let's start counting them up. Okay, there's Lord Brahma. Let's count his qualities. There's Lord Shiva. Let's count his qualities. There's Narayan. Let's count his qualities. And there's Krishna. And as you know, Krishna has 4 qualities that even Narayan doesn't have. So let me just read a little bit here, and we'll end the class. So how this chapter, it's a chapter qualities of Lord Krishna or Sri Krishna. And it says, Srila Rupa Goswami, after consulting various scriptures, has enumerated the transcendental qualities of the Lord as follows. And he goes through 50 different qualities. And he says the Supreme Personality of Godhead has all these 50 transcendental qualities in fullness, as deep as the ocean. In other words, the extent of his qualities is inconceivable. As parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, the individual living entities can also possess all of these qualities in minute quantities, provided they become pure devotees of the Lord. In other words, all of the above transcendental qualities can be present in the devotees in minute quantity, whereas the qualities in fullness are always present in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So oneness is in quality, not quantity. Besides these, there are other transcendental qualities which are described by Lord Shiva to Parvati in the Padma Purana. And he goes through a list of those. It says, besides all the above 50 qualities, Lord Krishna possesses 5 more, which are sometimes partially manifested in the person of Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva. These transcendental qualities are as follows: changeless, all-cognizant, ever-fresh, Satchidananda, possessing all mystic perfections. Krishna also possesses 5 other qualities which are manifest in the body of Narayan. So the 55 qualities are there in Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Sometimes Brahma and Lord Shiva. And then Lord Narayan has 5 others. He has inconceivable potency. Uncountable universes generate from his body. That's an amazing quality, isn't it? He is the original source of all incarnations. He is the giver of salvation to the enemies whom he kills. He is the attractor of liberated souls. All of these qualities are manifest wonderfully in the personal feature of Lord Krishna. Now we're up to 60 qualities. Besides these 60 transcendental qualities, Krishna has 4 more which are not manifested even in the Narayan form of Godhead, what to speak of the demigods or living entities. They are as follows. Does anyone know these qualities? Yes, yeah.
Always surrounded by his devotees.
And yes, he's a performer of wonderful varieties of pastimes, surrounded by his devotees, contract all living entities over the universe by playing on his flute, and his bodily beauty. He has a wonderful excellence of beauty which cannot be rivaled anywhere in the creation. So here it says, adding to this list of 4 excellent qualities of Krishna, it is to be understood that the aggregate number of qualities of Krishna is 64. Rupa Goswami has attempted to give evidence from the various scriptures about all 64 qualities present in the person of the Supreme Lord. Now, where is it? But there's I thought maybe there'd be a thing where it talks about the percentages. Is that in this chapter, at the end of the chapter? I don't see it. Yeah, but I thought it was written up here. But it's showing that Krishna has all of these qualities, and Lord Narayan has up to 60. It says here, Lord Shiva has up to 55, Lord Brahma up to 50. And the living entities, I mean, Lord Brahma is the most pious living entity. He can, you can get up to that level. But now you can't, further you can't go. You can't go. So, a little bit. So in this pastime here, pastime or historical discussion about the appearance of these three personalities who were partial expansions of three personalities, Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, and Lord Brahma. We'll be reading about how they appeared and so on. But just to set things straight, they're not all God. There's quite a big difference. And a little bit about this understanding. Why do we accept Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead? Prabhupada liked that expression. He didn't. You were saying that the other day. He didn't like the expression, the Blessed Lord, that was put in there. That's from some other... Yeah, the supreme personality of Godhead. There are many personalities of Godhead, but Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, even higher than Narayan, like that. So that's what is established. Yes. Yeah, most understanding of God is something of this material world, the creator of this material world. But what the spiritual world is, and no information is given. No information is given whatsoever. So, the God of Islam, the God of Christianity, the God of Buddhism, the God of... Let's have a rational discussion about it. Who's presenting the best God? Yeah. How is he great? That doesn't mean you're not talking about God, but your information is limited. So we're talking about the same person. We're not talking about my God's better than your God. We're just giving a more thorough description, that's all. And you need that in order to become a devotee. Just like they have these dating sites, and they try to give the best, the most accurate and full description of yourself. So people just put all kinds of lies up there, I guess. That's what I always hear. I'm like, I'm rich, I'm handsome, I'm beautiful, and then you meet them, and it's like, boy, none of that stuff. But anyways, the more you know about someone, the chances, and then you can understand whether you're compatible or not. The more description, there's a chance that you may, what do you call that? You may hit it off. Like that, maybe compatible or something like that. If you don't know much about someone, how can you have a relationship? Like that. Oh, my best friend, what's his name? I don't know. What does he look like? I don't know. I don't know. How's your best friend? Best friend is someone, you're soulmates. You know everything about them. They can tell you anything they want. You can tell them anything you want, right? Soulmate, you could say. So, Krishna's the Sudhidam Sarvabhutanam. Right? He's the best friend of every living entity. So, God's my best friend. What can you tell me about him? He's great. He's great. He's great. It's like, come on, you got to give me a little more than that to go on. You'd love him too. He's great. He's just great, right? So, anyways, I shouldn't make fun, but you know the point I'm making. So we can open it up for discussion.
Well, I discovered something that I didn't know. It has nothing to do with his dress. Asa means where you live, or Durvasa means difficult to live with.
Durvasa means difficult to live with. Is any devotees named that? Devotees, give what? You should hope so. You think so? Okay. Durvasa does. Why probably give you that name? Well,
Instead of Dasa, we can say Durvasa.
Durvasa.
I had a couple of questions. One was that one of the four qualities of Krishna that are included with Narayan or below, you said this is beauty. But was beauty one of the 50, the first 50, or no?
Yeah, Krishna is Anorva Rupa Shri Vishvamsa, unequal and unsurpassed beauty and opulence. That astounds all moving and non-moving entities. We can have a little bit of beauty without that.
Well, but isn't that the case with like all the 50 if someone has someone else as their conception of God, like Shiva, for example, then they could choose their own four qualities that Shiva, like Shiva's pastimes, or Shiva's married to Parvati, or something like that. Like these are the four godly qualities, and Krishna doesn't have those. So it seems like the four that we give for Krishna, the flute, the gopis, all the pastimes, it's like, okay, well, Shiva has his own pastime, has his own lovers, and he maybe has, okay, wears certain skins or something like that that Krishna doesn't wear. So,
Well, just because something is a characteristic that Krishna doesn't have, doesn't make that another god.
well, I mean, if someone's like if we're making an argument, if we make the argument, well, count the godly qualities, and up till 60, maybe some people might have, maybe Narayan has. But these four, no one has. These godly qualities, no one has. But then if someone says, well, if you're going to call those godly qualities because they're related to Krishna, and you're saying it's God. But let's say I say Shiva's God, and then these are Shiva's qualities. That he, sleeps on this, and he's married to this, or it seems, it seems like if they made the same argument, we'd say, yeah, but
Yeah, but one thing of these four qualities, just like Devita Prabhu was saying, he's surrounded by his devotees. You can say Lord Shiva is surrounded by his devotees, but he's not surrounded by devotees who are in pure love of God. His devotees want something from him. That's not, they always want something from him, his devotees. Like Banasura wanted his 1,000 arms. So it's a different characteristic. Or you actually attracting the whole creation. Now, Lord Shiva has so many attractive qualities, but he's not attracting all of creation. He's not residing in the heart of all living entities and the dearmost friend of every single living entity. So there's a distinction there. Astounds Lord Shiva. So what does the Lord Shiva say? Hey, knuckleheads, forget this four qualities I have. I'm a devotee of Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Already. Yeah. Yeah. So someone may imagine something that they think, well, because Lord Shiva is this or Lord that, he also has all these wonderful qualities. But what is Lord Shiva doing? He's meditating on Krishna, glorifying Krishna. So you're kind of wasting your time trying to come up with some qualities to compete like that. Balaram, you raise your hand right after him.
Some of the qualities, like right towards the end that Shiva doesn't have, that Narayan have, they're pretty significant. Like they're like all millions of universes, wars, and everyone who kills gets liberation, and just like
source of all incarnations.
Qualities that Narayan has over Shiva, which is speak of Krishna, right? These four qualities are more meant to
That's a very good point.
elevate Krishna above Narayan.
One very good criterion for okay, God. You have blooming highlights. You have something to bring the color to India. Brilliant to follow. What's the standard? Those who are truly advanced in devotion to
well, Lord Shiva doesn't have loving servants, but Sada Shiva has a Vaikuntha Loka, to my knowledge, and he actually does have eternal devotees who actually just love him and don't want any material benefit from him. And as far as renunciation, there's impersonalist Shivites who will perform austerities that they'll just like look at us and laugh at the austerities we perform. And there's a million verses in the scriptures apparently that say Shiva is supreme, Kali is supreme, so on and so forth. So, I mean, in my 9 years of debating with people about Krishna consciousness, you can't prove it to people. You can't just say that A equals B and B equals C and then therefore Krishna's God. Period. You're lost. It doesn't work like that. People can always come up with evidence. They can always come up with clever arguments. They can always come up with scriptural quotes. So in the end, it seems like if Krishna actually is God, and you have realization that Krishna actually is God, it's only because of His mercy you have that realization. And it's not by your intellectual prowess of argument and logic, and you finally concluded that He's God.
Yeah, that's so.
Not renunciation. Detachment. They may perform some of the austerities, but I'm not talking about austerities. I'm talking about actual things that you can observe people that are they detached or they're not detached. Even you can tell someone that is faking worship of Krishna. That's all it is to show, then it'll show eventually. There's that to women, there's that to BDs, whatever. But that's also what it has to be wrong.
And you made some good points there about, arguing and logic and so on. There's that one verse or saying, a man convinced against his own will is of the same opinion still. So that's true. There's only certain, as far as you can go with logic and argument and so on. In fact, what is that verse in the Mahabharata about? So it's not there. It's actually, the truth will be found in the hearts of the great Mahajana Kata Sapanta, in the hearts of the Mahajans, like you're saying, Krishna reveals, and so on. So one thing is this logical, you could say, rational explanation of spirituality and Krishna consciousness is for those who are devotees, to increase our faith. For someone who's convinced, that we're wrong, what are you going to say to them? You're not going to be able to say anything. So really, predominantly, it's for our own faith that we're reading this and understanding this, and we're open to it. Yes, it makes a lot of sense, and it's a fact. It does. You're just like talking to a wall sometimes.
Yeah, I think the danger is sometimes we get together and we start talking about, we proved it, we did this, and we go running out there, charging into battle, and then, I can defeat you in an argument, blah, 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 and then we just make fools out of ourselves. Because, someone who's very clever atheist, they can come up with very clever sounding arguments, and we don't have answers to those arguments because we never thought of that argument. And then all of a sudden we're sitting there like speechless.
Yeah, well, also it's a symptom of the topmost devotee that they can speak and convince others, whereas the there has to be common ground of discussion. And if we're not very advanced, we have to be very, very careful because we don't know the arguments from Scripture and so on, and we can become bewildered. So it's true to be very careful who we talk to, and don't try to convince the whole world. That's why book distribution is so important. Let Prabhupada try to convince them. If anyone's going to convince them, it's Prabhupada. So we can end here on that good note. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna